Good evening. I call the meeting of the Calvert County Police Accountability Board to order. It is now 6:30 p.m. on February 28th, 2024. We do have a quorum, and I want to let you know this meeting is being recorded. I am Susan Justice, Vice Chair of the PAB. I will be conducting this meeting on behalf of the Chair, Wilson Perrin, who was unable to attend the meeting this evening. We have Suzanne Benedict and Alfonso Hawkins joining us this evening over Zoom. That's correct?
Yes.
Okay. You have the agenda in front of you. Are there any additions to the agenda? I'm going to make a motion to amend what? Oh, we have to amend the agenda. I am sorry. I apologize. We have to take Maryland State Police off the agenda. They will not be in attendance tonight. So do I have a motion for the amendment of the agenda?
Motion to amend.
We have
Motion to
first and
amend.
second?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we have administrative charging committee vacancy has been filled.
Liz, is it formally announced?
Yes.
Then, yes, it has.
Has been appointed Edward Baylor to the ACC. He has to go through the state training before he can join in on the committee. It doesn't look like he'll be able to actually complete the training and be sitting in until May of 2024. Looks like April will be the next training period. PAB end of year report on January 23rd, Wilson, Perrin, and Scott Deacon met with the commissioners, presented the PAB end of year report. There was a lot of positive feedback from that. Scott, do you want to say anything about that? No?
Not really, it just,
The county commissioners were very appreciative of the work that's being done, as we are very much in the forefront of the activities for the Police Accountability Board, as well as the ACC, the Administrative Charging Committee. They were happy about that. They were happy about our relationship with the Sheriff's Office, and they might talk better. Is that better? Thanks. Works better in the on position. In any case, they were complimentary and of our relationship with the Sheriff's Office, and appreciative on all the work that we work through together, as well as our community engagement. So thank you for the opportunity.
Great, thank you. One of the news that we got at that meeting was that a $15,312 grant had been awarded to the Sheriff's Office to cover telemetrics and GPS for 80 of their vehicles. Do you have any update, your comment on that?
Yes, ma'am. We're actually, good evening, everyone. Sheriff Cox. With that grant, we've already started installing the GPS systems inside the car, so we're rocking and rolling with that. They're live on some of our cars, but each and every day we have a schedule put out, and the deputies, actually our building's right down here at the bottom of the hill, that they go there and have it installed. So yeah, we're actually have that live now, and it's actually pretty good, and it even tracks the vehicles' maintenance schedules on it too as well. I mean, it just does a lot of different features on it, not only to help us but help the deputy as well too. So, and again, like I said, our biggest complaint was speed, and we'll be able to track that too as well. So,
Great.
right, thank you.
That's great, thank you. This time you can see our complaint report. January 1, 2024 to February 26, there were 7. There were 2 cases reviewed by the ACC, Complaints not eligible for the ACC review were 3. Cases resulting in administrative charges, 0. Cases pending ACC review, 1. AC charged in agreement with CCSO findings, 0. The reason that we had the complaints, 3 complaints not eligible, 2 of those came about prior to the July 1, 2022 PAB implementation, so therefore there was no authority to review those. The other complaint was filed against the Maryland State Police, therefore they have their own review by their state administrative charging company, or committee. That way, we don't hear that one either. So that explains the 3 that aren't reviewed. Any questions? This could be quick. Is this his?
Just a further breakdown of the
Oh,
complaints.
this is just more of a breakdown, barcode type breakdown. It shows the cases. Maryland State Police are not going to be here or not present. We will go through that. Recommendation. So for new business, new business? Are you new business? So, under new business, we have a recommendation, opportunity to enhance a procedure, a no contact order. The no contact order recommendation is when there is an allegation of harassment of a civilian and a request for a no trespass order, a deputy shall be instructed to make no contact. This instruction should include communication through electronic devices and written means. Are there any changes to that?
No, not at this time.
What is the current policy?
So there is no policy. So it's a one-off. This is a one-off situation that's occurred in this instance, and it's probably not even constitutionally correct for us to follow through this recommendation. What really happens, what needs to happen, and what has happened is the victim or the other half of this incident is the one that's advised to go get the no contact orders, and she was advised in this case, and she's the one that would go do that. We wouldn't do that.
Is it against policy to advise a deputy that has been accused of such not to contact them?
He can not contact her during the day, but after hours, I can't tell him not to contact her.
Well, I thought if you're a sheriff, you're always a sheriff. That was the,
You're always the sheriff, but he still has some rights. And
What was happening in that case too is the complainant was actually contacting him,
Is it-
even though there was given no contact or, I mean,
Right.
it's a fine line there.
So would this recommendation only apply during their business hours anyway? It wouldn't hold up like a court order.
That's correct.
They're given an order they should follow.
I
I'm
mean,
just
I think
thinking
it's
no
a good-
contact
a
goes a
good
little,
policy.
it goes over the words and the verbiage there that, like the colonel said, that does give kind of, abusing their rights as far as what they're trying to do as well. But it just, like he said, it's a fine line there, but we can't go in the case in particular, but it was.
There's a system in place already for her to do that.
Okay. So if it isn't, I don't know, John's not here today.
Pam, I'm sorry, I forgot
I
to
was late,
introduce.
No, the words, Pam Luke, Associate County Attorney. understanding and from what Sheriff Cox and Deputy Payne have announced or have stated, there's nothing in place at the moment. I would gather that this sounds like this was something that was implemented based on one situation.
Correct.
So at this time, I think that you can err on the side of caution and certainly direct the deputies as necessary, but there's nothing set in stone. I mean, he or she would not be in violation, I would think, of any type of statute or whatnot, if indeed they move forward under the emergency situations. And ultimately, it's going to be a case-by-case basis, ultimately.
Or if 6 months from now, they start dating.
It's happened, that's why.
Excuse me, Suzanne Benedict has her hand raised. Suzanne, do you have a question?
I think it was answered, I'm just clarifying whether it was just a one case, what case data for the particular recommendation.
Okay, you said you think it was answered? We're
Yeah.
having some trouble hearing you.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so since it did come up, do you both feel that it would be wise to have something in your procedures that says, hey, you shouldn't do that?
I think that's just good supervision in general anyway, so we would do that anyway, which was what was done.
Okay.
You can't necessarily procedure and policy every ability to supervise people. It just doesn't work that way.
Right.
I mean, you'd have to put a time limit on it. You'd have to put, there's a whole lot of things that would go,
And it would
that
depend
would go
on the
into it.
outcome.
There's a whole lot into it. So yeah, it's smart to tell him or her not to do certain things, and we do that, and we do it as a matter of any discipline, it's just general supervision. Just because there's not a policy doesn't mean it doesn't get
Right.
accomplished.
So do we want to entertain a motion to approve it as written?
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Recommendation.
recommendation.
Yeah, it's just a recommendation.
It's perfectly fine. We were just, for the record, stating kind of what some of the background of it was without, it's kind of difficult without talking about the case, but
Right, exactly, exactly.
Excuse me, Hulk has his hand raised also. Hulk, can you go ahead and speak, please?
Can you hear me?
We can.
Yes,
So basically, if it's domestic related, then it puts a whole new spin on your ability to do certain things, correct?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
so do we want to go ahead and approve the recommendation? Is everyone comfortable with it, or?
I don't think you have a motion.
So we don't have a motion to approve it as written, or even approve the recommendation, the no contact. So it doesn't stand.
We'll review, I mean, we're in the process of being certified through the CALIA too, so we'll look at that as far as our policy goes too, as well as that we're revamping that, so.
Right,
That we're currently in the middle of all that, so
right, it's things
2 to
in
3 year
progress.
process, yes,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. All right. Sheriff, I will lean to you. Do you have anything that you want to present?
No, this year's been going smooth. The deputies are working hard out there. We appreciate all your work that you do for the citizens and their process to be able to, field their complaints that they feel that they should as a citizen. And just going throughout the state and the other sheriff's departments and other police departments, I think that our board has above and beyond what's out there. Some boards haven't even heard cases yet, and they're backlogged a couple hundred. So, and I think that goes back to where our deputies do. I think do a great job, and our troopers too as well. I feel like they do the right thing. They do a great job, and like I tell everybody, it's a great place to work and live. So we want to keep it that way.
Absolutely.
I gave you our fourth quarter annual reports, and if you would turn to the highlighted page, and just some of the big things that we were trying to achieve in the year 2023 is reducing the Part 1 crimes by 8%, which we're happy about. Fatal accidents by 14%, and accidents by 4% compared to the year prior of 2022. And the use of force complaints and incidents is 51%. That's a big number. And I think that goes to us going to the training and de-escalating training, to see the CIT training that we send the deputies to, that we host here
Right.
in Calvert County, to be able to talk down a person that's, outraged, or rather than putting hands on them like we were trained
Right.
before in the past. Now we're talking the situations down to where we can they come down on their level and talk to them, and hopefully have a good outcome. And I think that's why that number at 51% decrease compared to 2022. So
That's a drastic.
overdoses, we've seen an uptick in the age bracket. It was very teenage to 25. We're seeing those numbers shift to mid-30s to mid-40s. It's kind of like that pocket of overdoses, but they were decreased by 25%. So, and that's again, all the deputies carry Narcan, and I think it has a lot to do with that too as well. So they're all trained on how to administer that to those calls. We respond to a lot of overdose calls too as well. So be able to being trained like that, I think, and be able to reduce saving one life is is key.
That's
So.
a big thing, yeah.
And reduction in complaints of 44% compared to 2022. I think that has to, with this board here and what we do. So I think that's a really good number too as well, and what we do here. And departmental vehicle accidents by 24%. But I just kind of wanted to highlight those numbers compared to 2022. Myself and Dave Payne here took over in 2023, so we're working hard to have a better year this year. So.
You've already made a drastic difference. Those numbers are impressive.
It is.
It's a lot of hard work.
And me as sheriff, I want the citizen out there, the taxpayers, to know what we do each and every day. So every quarter we have these that come out, and so we publish them on our website, and you can read it. Anybody can read it. So so each quarter we put it out there, what we do and what we're doing, and I think that's keeping the citizens here that live here informed in what we do. So we're putting out these every quarter. So.
Thank you for
Excellent.
bringing these.
Yeah, this is excellent. It's a lot of good information.
Yeah, we do a lot outside, writing tickets or making arrests. So the deputies, they coach, they do a lot of different things in our community. As you can see, we highlighted some of those in there too as well. So, and we have our correctional deputies too that do a tremendous job as far as, there's a big liability with when us two up here, we run the jail too. So it's a lot of liability too, as well as, carrying custody of inmates. So, but we're doing a great job. They do an awesome job there too as well.
It's great. Improvements are fantastic.
Sheriff, can you talk a little bit about the deputy liaison program, what that is?
As far as the neighborhoods?
Yeah.
Yes, so we had, the year of 2022, I think we have up to 15 neighborhoods. So any neighborhood in Calvert County that wants one, a lot of them have HOAs, or the president reaches out to us, and we can assign a deputy to your neighborhood. And what the goal is, or my thinking of this, is that a lot of times people call and give complaints to the sheriff's office. They'll call, next shift comes on, and then it's forgotten about. So you have a direct contact of the deputy that he's assigned to your neighborhood. Will assign him or her to your neighborhood, and they field complaints. You have a direct phone line to that person, and I think what it has been doing is, what we've been seeing is that those complaints are fielded, they're taken care of, rather than it's escalating to a bigger problem inside that neighborhood, that we can get on it and give you resources and correcting some of those problems that these neighborhoods are having. So rather than calling the sheriff's office, forgotten about, the next shift's on, they don't know nothing about it. So they're all posted at the office. If you have an issue, the lieutenant or the commander will call that deputy and shoot him an email. But we've been seeing is that they're calling them directly, emailing them directly, and they're handling it. So
Excellent.
it's actually been doing good, so.
How many do you have out there?
Currently 15, roughly 15. We just had another request for one yesterday, so.
Kind of started at the neighborhood watch meetings and kind of just grew from there, so.
Yeah, when I went to the neighborhood watch meetings, we have 4 or 5 people show up. And I don't think you're really achieving anything when you have 4 or 5 people there, so.
No.
If you have a direct line to a deputy that's assigned to your neighborhood, it's been working by far better than what we've been doing.
Great.
And a lot of them, they've had us, they're invited to their community events and getting our deputies involved in these neighborhoods and the kids. And it's actually been working out very well, so.
That's fantastic.
You're seeing that it impacts crime or things like that in the neighborhoods where you have it?
I think that's the goal eventually. I mean, we're still pretty new into it, but honestly, the biggest portion of it is a communication tool. So yes and no. I mean, that's kind of hard to quantify, just based on communication, because, it's like if you're sitting in front of the bank doesn't get robbed. Did you do a good job or did you not? I don't know. But so it's kind of that kind of thing. But the communication has been awesome. The other thing the sheriff's done, I think we kind of forgot about because it's not in there, is we just started into our 3 districts here in the county. I don't know if you heard about that, but we've divided up the county into 3 distinct areas. District 1's up north for us, 2's in Prince Frederick, 3's down south. We've got stations that are up there. I think the ribbon cutting is on Tuesday.
The 5th, March 5th.
March 5th. And those will open up, and that's going to give us the ability to be a whole lot more efficient and stay in those areas than come down. Because currently what happens actually just switched, but prior in Dunkirk, if a deputy had something he had to come to Prince Frederick for, that he would, now it's a 20, I don't know if you've driven up there lately, but it's a 20-minute drive to get up there now. So
Yeah.
20 minutes down, 20 minutes back, 20 minutes of messing around, he's gone an hour, and it's left an hour, and it's just not acceptable. So we are keeping the deputies in those areas as best we can. We've got gas cards now. They don't even have to come for gas to Prince Frederick. They can, eventually, those will be hopefully fully operational sheriff's offices.
Where are they located?
The one is Ferry Landing Road
Ferry
Bank.
Landing Road in Dunkirk, the old SunTrust Bank,
Okay.
So,
and the Bank of America on A.C. Truman Road, right behind the Fast Stop.
Really?
I'm not going in the banking business, so
but
they were
Well,
vacant,
I'm glad
and
that
we took
somebody's
advantage
using
of
that
the.
building. It's been-
yeah,
But like the colonel said too, we have had the gas cards in place, so saving the county taxpayer dollars. As far as the deputy, we had 1 gas pump in the entire county, and they'd have to drive out of the patrol and then get gas, Prince Frederick, and go back. As far as how much that costs for the deputy doing that, for just getting gas and then gas there and back, and it does save when you add it up over the year.
Oh, yeah.
And keeping those deputies in the patrol areas and improving the response times is the whole goal and key of this whole district thing. So, and planning for the future. I mean, as you can see, the building in Prince Frederick, I mean, you're going to have a lot of traffic through Prince Frederick, and keeping those deputies in different areas, they're going to drastically improve the response time by a lot. So,
Oh, absolutely.
Yep, we're very excited about the traffic in Prince Frederick.
and then reducing traffic on Route 231. All of our deputies, that's where we go to get gas. So, I mean, and getting out of Stafford Road is dangerous. As you may have tried to be driven that road, and reducing the traffic all we can on Route 231. We're supposed to get improvements on there, but it just got shot down this summer, so that's not happening anymore. So, just trying to figure out different ways to improve, reducing that traffic on 231 too.
Definitely.
As you all can say, the fair and all that stuff, it can get messy.
it's crazy.
Messy is a
Yeah.
polite word,
And then
especially during the fair.
the other part of our partnership, I just want to point out, on Bob Harvey, I think you see it, yeah, Bob Harvey, state's attorney, and his team have been incredible since we've been here, so I just wanted to point that out. That's a big part of any, criminal justice organization is your state's attorney and your if you have backup from them, and we do, so.
Anything else for the sheriff's office? Anybody have any questions? Anything else, Sheriff?
No, I mean, if you guys, like, I'm very open, a lot. My phone numbers out there. If you guys have any ideas, we're out here, we listen. And we're always looking to make an improvement, so.
Fantastic. You've done a tremendous amount of improvements.
Yeah, each and every day. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a long first year, but we've even improved our budget, and made strides in that too as well, saving money. I put in different spots when needed. When I came in, I've added 3 deputies within our school system, so I increased that by 3 on my own without any funding. And my goal is to have a deputy in every school. And people ask me, why do you want a deputy in every school? Is it just to have the presence? But just not the presence, we want to teach drug education again. And we're not doing that at any level. So, I mean, elementary, you get the kids when they're young,
Yeah.
middle school, and into high school, what drugs look like, what they can do to you, if I'm at a party, what do they look like, can they harm me? We're not teaching our kids that. And I think if we start them young, that can even improve now, or reducing our fatal overdoses, right? And giving that in the back of their mind, what they're seeing and what it does to you, I think we reduce that number too, so. And like I say, we save one life, it's worth it, so.
Totally worth it. You're right.
Are you bringing back the DARE program? Did that go away? Is that what happened?
It's dictated by the principal in the building. So we currently teach it at 2 middle schools, and the 2 of the private schools allow us to do that. So if they don't allow us to do that, then we can't teach it.
Wow.
We're looking at some other programs too.
Okay. But that would also be voluntary for the schools, like it wouldn't be,
It's
it's a challenge, I understand
a
that.
challenge. But yeah, that's the goal. That's the steps.
I think it's needed. I don't think it should be.
I feel like
That
there
shouldn't
on a
was
case-by-case
something
basis.
Mandatory.
last week, either at CTA or at Patuxent, because my son came home talking about how they had something with beer goggles.
Yeah, we're still doing a lot of stuff. We do a lot of stuff in Miss Lister's class and all the criminal justice classes in all the high schools. But we're looking to push a lot of that stuff down into the elementary age and middle school age children. Not that stuff in particular, but starting in that
I
age.
mean, some of the kids are aware by then
That's
of,
correct.
of
And then the
things.
big issue in our schools now is, not as much as drinking or anything, like cigarettes, but it's vaping, so.
It's the social
And
media
then what's
stuff.
inside of
It's,
the vape cards, what's inside of the vape cigarettes, I mean, it's.
it's everything all these kids are coming across,
But we always gotta be thinking ahead, so, and hopefully we can move forward and get this inside of our schools, secure the schools, that's my goal.
It's a
So,
good goal.
and the reason why I wear the uniform is because I'm a 5th grade DARE teacher, so, I mean, even those role models and having seen them and what they do, I mean, like I said, Sheriff Vonzo Ward came to our class a lot and talked to us about certain things, and, allowed us to come to the sheriff's office and interact with the deputies. I think that goes a long way, is cultivating our young kids. We have great kids that live here to actually working inside our sheriff's department, so, our sheriff's office. So, and we do have a lot of them lined up that are 18 now, getting ready to graduate, that they're gonna work at our detention center and become correctional deputies at 18 years old, so.
That's good.
so
It also reduces that fear concept
absolutely.
of being afraid of the police.
Absolutely.
Great.
I could talk for another hour, but I'll cut it short.
Any other questions?
Anybody have any more questions for the sheriff's office?
Thank you both.
Thank you
Thank
both
you all. Appreciate
for
it.
everything. Thank you for this report. I like this. Does anyone else have a comment?
Well,
Mr. Harvey?
Bob Harvey, State's Attorney. I'm thrilled that the sheriff mentioned that districting project that they have just initiated. That has the capability of revolutionizing law enforcement in this county. I mean, that's something that is completely new, hasn't happened since I've lived here 35, 40 years. So it's a great concept. I'm hoping that the State's Attorney's Office can eventually, once it gets on the ground, tie into that program and have prosecutors working directly with the people in the district stations. So I'm glad, very supportive of that, and glad it's working out. And the commissioners need to be commended as well because the funding has been made available for the rental of these spaces and so forth. I'm sorry I didn't bring my annual report to you all, but I'll get it to you. I don't do a quarterly report, but we do an annual report that lists all of our various accomplishments, and I'd love for you all to see that.
Absolutely.
Commenting on the overdoses, I think what we're seeing, it was shocking to me that the average age of the overdose victim is 37, 40 years old. And the reason, I think, is that you've got the old-time drug user pill poppers who think that they're getting their usual supply of whatever they're taking, but they're not. It's got fentanyl in it, and it's killing them. And so that's what you're seeing is some of the older people who are used to popping pills, they're getting pills that are tainted, and it's killing them. So we've had 2 fatalities so far this year, 2 overdoses, which is a little bit ahead of the pace. So we'll just have to see. You never know. Finally, I wanted to report, as part of my duties as state's attorney, we have a Maryland State's Attorneys Association who's heavily involved in legislation. The Maryland legislature is currently in session, and just for your information, there is a bill on each side, one in the House of Delegates, one in the Senate, that would greatly expand the powers of the police accountability boards. There is a push afoot to grant subpoena power and investigatory power to the Police Accountability Board. It's primarily coming out of Baltimore City. They had something in Baltimore City called a Civilian Review Board, which has historically had these kinds of powers. I'm not sure exactly what the problem is. Baltimore City Police Accountability Board apparently has a stack of 200 unanswered cases sitting on somebody's desk up there. So they're talking about expanding the powers. I think you should know about it. I don't know how you feel about it. There's been a lot of pushback, even among some of the more progressive counties, Montgomery County, that it's not necessary, that the Administrative Charging Committee already has subpoena powers, so forth and so on. But bill hearings have already occurred. There's been debate and discussion. Don't know where it's going to go, but if you have any interest in it, contact your state senator or your delegate and let them know how you feel about that. I don't know that if anybody reached out to you guys here locally, but there are bills up there right now that are being debated about, your function. I can tell from the nature of the debate that Calvert County is way ahead of the curve. As I said, Baltimore City, 200 unsolved cases. And I think you only have a year and a day to do something with these cases.
Yes.
So if you don't get to them in a year and a day, they just go away.
I'm wondering if that's why they're trying to expand the power to this portion, because maybe then they could clear things out more quickly.
I don't know what the motivation is.
But that sounds.
I just wanted to let you know I wasn't actually paying much attention, and then all of a sudden this debate started, so I kept on watching. It's not something I had focused in on. Juvenile justice reform is the big topic for state's attorneys across the state, and that bill, with about 15 or 20 amendments, which are mostly unfathomable, passed the House today, and now it's on to the Senate to see what happens there. So that's the big topic, juvenile justice reform. There's some debate, some feeling that 2 years ago we went a little bit too far, and as a result, juveniles are not being held accountable. So they're pulling back some of the more individuals would be brought into the system, eligible to be brought into the system. So that's what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Scott, do you have anything? Do we have any public comment?
Do we have anybody from the public that would like to comment? Please raise your hand if you're attending over Zoom. We do not have anyone raised hands.
Okay, that should be it. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
A second?
Second.
Meeting adjourned.
You should run every meeting.
What?